Hi, and welcome to Carolina Varsity's look at week 4 of the 2013 season. I'm Dale Ross.
I'm the pep man, Matt Morrow, and we're going to take a look at the games that me and Dale both attended. The game I went to Thursday night, since we had the CMS Thursday night thing, which I'm glad is over, by the way.
Yep.
Makes for a long weekend. I went to the West Meck Independence game, and West Meck won this one 40-33, an absolute classic of a game. Congratulations to both you teams. You guys played a heck of a game. And the biggest thing I saw was, West Meck got out in front 7-0. And Independence looked kind of dead starting out until they got the punt return by Deion Washington, which tied the ball game up. And then from there, it was like a playoff game. The crowd was great. It was back and forth action. The biggest thing to me when Independence got up 27-14, West Meck went to the I formation, and when they did that, they just started pounding on Independence, and Independence couldn't stop the run. And one of the keys that I mentioned last week was Independence had to tackle well, and they didn't tackle well. And once West Meck saw that, it was just like their team from last year that would just pound you and pound you and pound you into submission, and that's exactly what they did. Independence was able to hit a big play here and there in the passing game, but it was sporadic. They could never get anything going consistently. They either had the big plays or they couldn't really move the ball, and that's a testament to the West Meck defense.
Right.
So the game was close. In the fourth quarter, West Meck went on a long drive. They converted 2 fourth downs on that drive, and Sean Wilson scored with about 2 minutes left. Independence came back down the field, got in the red zone, threw an interception, and had a controversial pass interference call on that play. That gave Independence another chance. But they ended up throwing another interception again in the red zone, and West Meck won the game. It was a big celebration. I hate I didn't get it on camera, but it was awesome. It was an awesome atmosphere, and great game to watch, definitely.
Well, so the big thing there was West Meck defense actually won the ball game for them. It sounds like.
Yes, they did.
From your accounts, the Stars at West did everything they were supposed to do, and
Right.
sounds like it was just a lot of big plays and no real grind them out plays for Independence. That they still may be some questions on that offense. So.
Exactly.
Okay, well, while you were enjoying a great game, due to my late arrival back into town, I went over to Waddell and watched Olympic host Hopewell. And that ball game started out with a screen pass to Dominic Heath on the bubble screen on the sideline. And I tell you, the kid was never that far off the sideline the entire, 78 yards. It was a big play. So Hopewell jumped out quick. He showed what he's capable of. Really surprising in this ball game, he did not touch the ball much at all. He had 2 touchdowns, but I bet to me it felt like he maybe didn't even touch the ball 10 times. So very low number. Olympic, after having the week before trouble finishing drives, they scored the second highest point output in the history of the school. It was 69 points. So I don't know if it was impressive because the defense that Hopewell put up really was, Matt, I'm sorry, but it's just not a very good, not a very sound defense. So. In the game, Darius Means had 3 receptions for 145 yards and 4 receptions for 145 yards, 3 touchdowns, and returned a kick. I'll look when we do the player of the week. He is my player of the week. He had a big punt return, had a really big night, and Isaac Garcia had 35 yards with 20 carries. So it's really all there is to say about it. Not too much of a ball game, kind of almost what we expected. Some people I think thought it might be a little bit closer game, and I think had Hopewell had a little bit better offensive game plan, they probably could have put some more points up by letting Heath touch the ball more. But coaches know what they're doing over there. It's their team. They practice with them. So
That's right.
that was it.
All right. Well, let's take a look at Friday night's action, where the rest of the world played. And I got lucky again with another great game down in District 3 Stadium, Rock Hill. Northwestern defeated Byrnes 42-35 in overtime in a matchup of South Carolina's top two rated teams according to the AP poll in South Carolina. And this one, a lot of people said it wasn't a lot of defense, but I'll tell you, man, defense won the game for Northwestern. In the first half, the first 4 drives combined for both teams, they both scored. So we were sitting there thinking, okay, this is going to be real wild. But Northwestern's defense made 2 key stops in the first half. On the 4th and 1, right before halftime, Byrnes went for it, and they tried a little dive play from the shotgun, and the guy got stuffed in the backfield, and that gave Northwestern the momentum going into halftime up 28-14. But just like last year when we covered South Point Northwestern, Byrnes went into halftime, made adjustments, and they came out in the second half and they were shutting Northwestern down. Northwestern got up early in the game by running a lot of wide receiver screens because Byrnes was playing a lot of soft coverage, a lot of cover 4. They kept taking underneath stuff, they ran the screens, and the guys were just making plays in space. Well, in the second half, Byrnes got up in their face, played a lot of tight man coverage, took those screens away, got pressure on Mason Rudolph, and Northwestern was off their game. Meanwhile, Byrnes was able to get 2 touchdowns. Schuler Bentley, the quarterback, was throwing the ball all over the place. He had a fantastic game, except for his turnovers. He had 2 critical ones. One in the third quarter late, where they could have got the game a lot closer. He was he had ran like a zone read, and it was running off tackle, going into the end zone. And he fumbled the ball into the end zone. Northwestern recovered for a touchback. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but Northwestern got the lead 35-28 in the fourth quarter. And then I actually, Dale called me when Byrnes was making his final drive, and I was giving him a play-by-play.
Which I thank you for that.
And Byrnes actually scored with about, I think it was maybe 15 seconds left in the game to tie the game at 35 and send it in overtime. And in overtime rule in South Carolina are the same as North Carolina. You get the ball to 10, you got 4 tries to score. Northwestern had the ball first and they scored, making it 42-35. So, of course, the stadium's going crazy. Everybody, both sides of the fans were standing up. Everybody's, cheering and everything. Byrnes comes out with the ball. First play of overtime, they throw a tip ball in the middle of the end zone. It gets picked off. Sets off a wild celebration. We did get that one on camera. So if you go to the news article, you can look at the pictures and everything. But the game lived up to the billing. It was a great game. I hope those teams have a rematch in the playoffs. Hopefully we can see them again, because that game was worth the price of admission. I tell you, great job to both of those teams.
Yeah, just a couple of comments. People, and I've read those comments about no defense. As prolific as these 2 offenses are, if there was no defense, the scores would be up there over 100.
Right.
Both are fantastic.
Be like
passing
that Davidson Day Christian game.
Exactly. Exactly. Both teams would be scoring every play because they both have fantastic offenses. Byrnes is, I've said many times, has one of the best passing games of a high school team.
Yes.
You'll see anywhere. They're just
very impressed.
Very impressive, fluent with their routes and everything. I just got one question. They're at the end of the game in regulation. After they scored, there was still some time left. And why do you reckon they didn't attempt to?
Well, on that kickoff when it was tied at 35, Northwestern got the ball around the 30-35 yard line, had about 13 seconds left with 2 timeouts. And at first they came out like they were going to run a play, but Byrnes took a timeout. And then after Byrnes took the timeout, Northwestern just took a knee and took it to overtime. And the only thing I can figure is Northwestern felt like they didn't want to make a mistake with the ball that deep in their territory.
Right.
And risk, a turnover or something, and maybe giving Byrnes a shot to win it at the end. So it worked out for them,
Right.
And You can't question it when it works for you.
That's right. Well, I went over to Charlotte Catholic to witness the Mallard Creek and Charlotte Catholic game, and a couple of people made comments to me. One person made a comment at the game similar, and I received a text message that kind of said, "Welcome to Big 4A football, Charlotte Catholic." This is the first 4A, Big 4A team that Charlotte Catholic has played in a real game.
Right.
Charlotte Catholic got the ball first. They came out, they ran some classic misdirection. Had a good quick hitter on a pass. Next thing you know, Charlotte Catholic was up 7-0, and of course they all thought they had a lot of hope.
Right.
I was on the Charlotte Catholic sideline at that point, and the fans and players and everybody really thought the comments they were making about how Mallard Creek's not all that basically is what they were saying. Talked to Coach Palmieri after the game, and he said, yeah, they ran a couple of plays we've never seen before, and safety stood still. So the result. Catholic had a little bit of success early, but in all honesty, Mallard Creek's defensive front was dominating. Very, very dominating, and as the score, proved out, it really wasn't a ball game. There was a little bit of hope. It was kind of close at halftime. I think it was 21-7, but you could tell that there was no offense. That Catholic could not generate offense. Hood just wasn't